Welcome back, race fans, to the second round of the season at the iconic Monza circuit. After his controversial antics at the opening race, all eyes are on Daniel Bourne as he looks to redeem himself today. Last time out, Bourne's technological trickery had the entire paddock up in arms as his cloaked car seemed to defy the laws of physics. The young upstart brazenly mocked his rivals, using a litany of bizarre tricks to maintain the advantage. But despite his underhanded tactics, he could only manage a disappointing 14th place finish. Now, Bourne is back, and he's making some rather concerning claims ahead of today's race. Apparently, he plans to drive with his ears closed, insisting he can feel the track better that way. And for added measure, he sorted all the items in his glove compartment alphabetically and plans to ditch his seatbelt for better mobility. It seems Bourne is determined to push the boundaries of racing protocol yet again in his quest for a podium finish. This is sure to be another can't-miss spectacle. Bourne's slow start is no surprise. How can he expect to drive competitively without being able to see the track? With Bourne's self-imposed handicaps, this first corner is sure to be an absolute calamity waiting to happen. Well, would you look at that? Against all odds, Bourne has somehow managed to survive that opening lap carnage. I'm not sure whether to be impressed or terrified. How on earth is he pulling this off with his eyes closed and no seatbelt? This man truly operates on a different plane of existence. Somehow, against all logic and reason, Bourne has managed to claw his way up to 8th position despite his self-imposed handicaps. In the build-up to this race, the young maverick has been positively brimming with confidence, boldly declaring that he can sense the very molecules in the air to guide his car around the track. When questioned by his fellow drivers, Bourne has smugly retorted that vision is for the weak-minded. He's even gone so far as to suggest that he's discovered a method of echolocation, using the vibrations of the engine and suspension to see the circuit. And as for ditching the seatbelt, Bourne claims it allows him to achieve a higher state of oneness with the machine. It's the stuff of utter lunacy, yet somehow Bourne is making it work. The other drivers must be absolutely incredulous, watching this technological alchemist defy all logic and reason. One has to wonder just how far Bourne is willing to push the boundaries of conventional racing before the entire sport comes crashing down around him. Bourne is pulling out all the stops to unsettle atoms, reportedly blasting a cacophony of random noises through his radio to disorient his rival. How this is legal is beyond comprehension. Unbelievable! Adams has just gone careening off the circuit, seemingly caught off guard by Bourne's bizarre antics. And of course, Bourne is now reaping the rewards, climbing up into 6th position. I don't know what kind of twisted mind games or technological trickery Bourne is employing, but it's clear he has no qualms about compromising the integrity of the competition to get what he wants. The other drivers must be absolutely fuming, watching this charlatan capitalize on such underhanded tactics. This isn't racing, it's a circus act, with Bourne as the ringleader. The race officials need to step in and put a stop to this madness before it spirals completely out of control. The fans deserve to see true skill and sportsmanship on display, not some high-tech version of psychological warfare. Bourne's antics are making a mockery of the entire sport. Well, look who's making another charge through the field. It's Martinez in that BMW, and he's rapidly closing in on Bourne's position. After Bourne's blatant disregard for conventional racing norms in the previous laps, I have to say, it's almost refreshing to see a driver making legitimate progress purely on the merits of their skill and determination. But of course, you just know, Bourne isn't going to make it easy. I wouldn't put it past this technological maverick to pull some other rabbit out of his hat, something so outlandish and unconventional that it leaves the entire paddock scratching their heads. Maybe he'll start communicating with the car through interpretive dance routines, or perhaps he's rigged up some sort of sixth sense that allows him to feel the track like a bat using echolocation. Adams careens off again, likely victims of Bourne's unseen machinations, hypnotic lights, psychoacoustic disruptions. Who knows? It's a travesty, robbing us of true motorsport in favor of Bourne's technological sleight of hand. You know, I can't help but wonder if Bourne's meticulous organization of his glove compartment is actually giving him some sort of competitive edge here. Perhaps the meticulously sorted items are creating a subtle vibration pattern that's helping him feel the track in ways the other drivers can't. Or maybe the constant gentle rattling is lulling his rivals into a hypnotic state, allowing Bourne to pounce when they least expect it. It's the kind of absurd, outside-the-box thinking I've come to expect from this technological maverick. While the other drivers are focused solely on the racing line and their engine mappings, Bourne is exploiting the most unassuming of elements, his own glove compartment, to gain an advantage. It's maddening, really, but you can't help but be a little impressed by the sheer audacity of it all. I shudder to think what other unexpected factors Bourne is leveraging to catch and pass his rivals. Maybe he's programmed his car's climate control to emit specific pheromones that disorient the other drivers. Or perhaps he's rigged up a sound system to bombard them with subliminal messages, lulling them into a state of submission. Showdown looming as Martinez strikes back. Against all odds, it seems Bourne's madcap decision to ditch the seatbelt in favor of extra mobility has paid dividends. As Martinez went for the overtake, Bourne was able to contort his body in ways that would make a cirque performer jealous, practically tying himself into a pretzel to shut the door. The resulting contact was certainly hairy, with both cars nearly spinning out of control. But somehow, Bourne's flexibility and core strength allowed him to keep the car planted, while Martinez went skating across the runoff area. It was like watching a contortionist behind the wheel. Bizarre, unnatural, and strangely mesmerizing all at the same time. I have to hand it to this madman. He's certainly committed to exploring every possible advantage, no matter how unorthodox or risky it may seem. While the other drivers are focused on conventional setups and techniques, Bourne is busy pushing the boundaries of what's possible in ways that make your head spin. Ditching safety equipment for increased mobility? It's the kind of insanity that should be laughed off, and yet here we are, watching it pay dividends. Part of me wants to condemn these antics as a perversion of the sport, but another part can't help but be captivated by the sheer audacity and ingenuity on display. Love him or hate him, you have to respect Bourne's relentless pursuit of even the slightest competitive edge through whatever means necessary. He's turning motorsport into a high-wire act, and so far, he's not falling off. As Martinez mounts another charge to try and unlap himself from Bourne's bizarre clutches, I can't help but wonder just what in the world is going on inside that car. Without the constraints of a seatbelt restricting his movements, Bourne has effectively turned the cockpit into his own personal circus ring. Is he hanging upside down from the roll cage, steering with his feet while juggling loose items from the glove box? Perhaps he's opted for a contortionist approach, bending and twisting his body into unnatural shapes in a misguided attempt to become one with the machine. At this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if he started performing rhythmic gymnastics routines mid-corner. The mind reels at the possibilities. It's like challenging a possessed marionette to a boxing match. The rules and boundaries have been so thoroughly demolished that any sense of fair competition is out the window. All the young hotshot can do is grit his teeth and drive like hell, praying Bourne's latest unhinged gambit doesn't completely break the fabric of reality. This is no longer a race in the conventional sense, it's a battle for the very soul of motorsport itself. Sanity! Name is not Daniel Bourne. Wait a minute, what in the world is happening here? Martinez and Bourne are going side by side, wheel to wheel down the main straight, and I can scarcely believe my eyes, but Bourne appears to have vacated the cockpit entirely. There's no sign of the young madman in the driver's seat. Instead, I'm witnessing the utterly bizarre side of his car navigating the circuit seemingly of its own accord, swerving and jinking as if being remote controlled. Has Bourne somehow invented a self-driving system and is managing the car from a hidden location? Or has he transcended physicality altogether, operating on a higher astral plane? And yet somehow, Martinez is able to finally make the pass and reassert some semblance of rationality to proceedings. The BMW surges ahead as the unmanned vehicle twitches and bucks, as if throwing an ethereal tantrum at having its reign of chaos upended. I'm at a loss for words here, folks. We've officially crossed the Rubicon into unintelligible bedlam. A car with no driver holding off a championship contender? It defies all logic and reason. I almost expected the vehicle to sprout wings and take flight in protest at Martinez's overtake. This is more than just racing at this point. It's interdimensional warfare between competing realms of existence. Part of me wants to condemn Bourne's latest transgression as a bridge too far, but another part can't help be transfixed by the sheer cosmos-sundering audacity of it all. Just when you think you've witnessed the pinnacle of this young scoundrel's illicit innovations, he ups the ante into heretofore uncharted madness. I don't know about you, but I'm just gonna stop questioning it and appreciate the absurdist spectacle for what it is. Because attempting to rationalize Bourne's actions is a fool's errand. We've gone full deity unspooling reality, unraveling here. All we can do is bear witness to the anarchic grandeur. As the unmanned Bourne vehicle continues its erratic, physics-defying maneuvers, one can't help but wonder, where in the world is its master hiding? Is he tucked away in some hidden compartment, gleefully cackling as he remote pilots this four-wheeled marionette show? Or has he ascended to a higher plane, beaming his consciousness directly into the car's computer systems like some sort of technological poltergeist? And just listen to the shouts echoing across the airwaves as Martinez and the apparition trade insults. This is lunacy! Sheer lunacy! The BMW driver bellows. No! This is evolution! Seems to be Bourne's disembodied retort, his voice dripping with messianic zeal. You cannot comprehend the new order! I'll not be cowed by your black magic, you freak! Martinez spits back, his southern lilt thickening with rage. Magic! Please! This is science! Bourne howls in response, his cackling laughter reverberating through the cosmos itself. This is no longer a motorsport event, but a clash of diametrically opposed ideologies. Progressive post-humanism versus stalwart traditionalism. The eldritch unknown against stubborn empiricism. All manifesting in a four-wheeled existential battleground, dragging the very construct of reality itself into its vortex of delirium. Well, race fans, we've reached the climax of this fever dream as the final lap looms. But even as the checkered flag beckons, the controversy continues to escalate. I'm being handed a directive from the FIA stewards regarding Bourne's activities during this event. And let me tell you, it's about as sane and coherent as you'd expect at this point. Yeah, he spits in. Apparently, after reviewing multiple pieces of evidence, including telemetry data, thermal imagery, and an encrypting shouting recorded by pit receivers, the officials have ruled that Bourne did not actually leave the confines of his vehicle. No! According to this Baroque judgment, his consciousness has instead achieved spatial transcendence, while his corporeal form remains anchored in the physical plane. So in essence, they're saying his freakish animating presence was simply his consciousness projecting outward and overriding the car's systems. As for the unmanned antics, that was merely Bourne recalibrating his spiritual ergonomics or some such balderdash. Unbelievable! This ruling doesn't clarify matters. It throws the entire nature of reality into a tailspin.